Hey, I'm gonna try to approach a complicated subject today, and the subject is ego and how it affects your performance and your work in sales, specifically car sales. So it's difficult because who am I if I'm not ego, right? So how can I fight it? It's pretty complex, but I'm gonna just try to address a few points as I see them affecting what I've saw in myself, other salespeople, and people that I trained right now day to day. So in some ways, of course, ego is helping you in terms of when you want to achieve and be successful. That's the great thing, right? That's the motivator. But there are certain ways where it's costing you money. So I'm going to try to address them. First one is if you're watching this video, you're really not in danger of that. But there are certain people, salespeople, that they know everything, right? Their confidence and their level that prevents them from accepting the fact that there are other things to learn. There are things to learn. Maybe they're doing something not exactly in the best way, in the optimal way, and they just refuse to train. You are watching these videos, so you're already past that. So I'm going to move on. Another thing that I see a lot is everybody is judging themselves at the dealership level, dealership stick, right? So you have the board, sales board, and you can see how's everybody doing for the month. And if you're number one, two, or three, it's kind of like it gives you the permission to kind of let go. Your ego is already fine. You're already number one. What else is there to do? Well, this is just your dealership, right? Yeah, okay, you sold more cars than everybody else, but it's just maybe nine other guys that most of them don't train. They're not good in what they're doing. They're not motivated. And much a better measure and stick will be something like what is your closing ratio, right? Measure that. What your activity is something else, but really measure of success will be if you got 100 leads, how many cars you sold compared to other salespeople. So just being on the top of a board of a regular average dealership is not that great. Okay, it might be good for your ego, but should not be stopping you from doing being better at yourself. And again, I'm not trying to make you be this superstar that works 7 days a week. No, just work normal hours, but be better in what you're doing. That's all it is. Just work smarter. So the other end of this is if you're not at the top, where are you then? And the worst place for you to be at the dealership is what's known as the huddle. And the huddle is the group, usually more than two. Sometimes it could be 5 or 10 people. Sometimes they're outside, what's called on point, waiting for apps, but really just wasting their time. Or maybe they're inside in somebody's office, but it's basically would be a group of guys that either don't have nothing to do or would rather sit and chat and bitch to each other about how the dealership is awful and customers are bad and the market is horrible and cars are not good, and just feed their ego with excuses about why they're not at the top of the board. And it's really easy to find those excuses if that's what you want. But again, this is like the worst thing you could be at the dealership, even regardless of this subject. Another thing that I see a lot, especially working with internet salespeople, is people love seeing their name in print and love repeating their name. And it starts from emails. So, typical first response email from a dealership would be, "Hi, my name is Miko, blah, 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 blah. Please ask for Miko. Regards, Miko." And just to remind you, you don't see it when you send this email, but when I get your email as a customer, your name is already on the top. So I see Miko, then subject, name of the dealership, which I really don't care about, and then, "Hi, my name is Miko." Your name, and same in voicemails, right? "Hi, this is Miko, leaving you voicemail, checking if you're still on the market." I keep repeating this. My name has zero value to you as a salesperson, and your name as a salesperson has zero value to the customer. Okay. You need to find other value to provide, and just feeling important by putting your name everywhere is not going to help you sell more cars. Yeah, there are ways to put your name out there: social media, marketing, branding your own, building your own brand. Those are things that'll help, but just putting your name everywhere and then giving business cards, "Look at me, I have a business card and it's gold level." Nobody cares about that. Okay. Think about the value you can provide to the customer. So now how your ego affects you when you actually are with a customer and you getting down to negotiation. So it could go both ways, right? And ego can hurt you in both ways. One way is when you get invested in something, get invested in making a deal, and then that deal proves to be super difficult and you might be losing that deal. Well, if you put your ego aside and start looking at the return on investment about the time you spend on the specific customer that's already negotiate with you and five other dealers and you fighting for scraps, think, is it worth it to you, to your dealership? How's going to be the review or CSI from that customer? Sometimes it's okay to lose. It's okay to let that customer go. Sometimes if there's no deal, there's no deal. Just move on. If you're at the right dealership, you're going to have other opportunities. If you're doing your job right, you're going to have opportunities. You're going to have people to reach out and to market yourself and do other things. So, yeah, sometimes it's okay to lose, and also, it's okay to lose when you're actually making the deal and you in negotiation. Because on the other end, sometimes people get stuck. Like I say, no, I told you that's the best price and this is it. And now if I give up another dollar, my ego will hurt. I will literally feel like it hurts me. It's a natural thing, right? We protect our things, we protect ourselves, we want to stand our ground, which is a natural, normal thing. But if sometimes if that deal is a few dollars away or if it's a deal, this deal is just a concession to the customer, literally let the customer win, right? I had a manager that will do the negotiation and in the end he will, it's tacky, right? He will put a smiley face and write you win and accept the offer after going back and forth. So I'm not saying this is, this is the tactic you should do, but just think about this, that let your ego go and assess this with that emotion. Try to look at this from just a business standpoint. Just take the deal. They're making you an offer. They're ready to buy. Is it worth it? If it's worth it from the business sense, just move on. Give up, make the deal. And you made the deal, right? You didn't lose. But sometimes we get stuck on that and we just, I've seen it so many times when just salespeople and managers puff their chest and this is it, and then the customer walks and then they run after them. It's just not a pretty picture. So yeah, so that's about actual selling and negotiation. But just when in communications, when you meet the customer, what do you look like? How do you present yourself? This is not about car sales, but I met a realtor that was showing a house and he's asking me, well, what do you do? Well, I'm in car sales. Oh, you in car sales? What, BMW? Well, he starts listing the list of 7 Series and expensive BMWs he had over the years and then showing me picture of his red Ferrari. Well, I'm sure it made him feel good, but I looked at him like, dude, I don't really care. And my wife was like completely put off. She was like, there's no way I'm dealing with this guy whatsoever. Don't trust him. Don't want to deal with him. So, how do you come off, right? Do you dress yourself, create your own image to make yourself look good? Or think like, do customers really care, right? Does the customer care if you have expensive shoes and expensive belt? Is that gonna really impress somebody? What about a Rolex, right? Is a Rolex going to impress them, or they're going to think, oh, you make enough money to, you rip off customers enough to get a Rolex. So just think about that and think about more. Just moves to the other thing is how do you present yourself in terms of talking? That's another thing that I see a lot when salespeople start just blurting out facts and telling stories, and as long as the customer is listening and nodding, they think that something is going well, right? And everybody likes talking, but is that helping you make a sale? Instead of talking about yourself and boasting and telling stories about what kind of cars you have, it will be much better to forget about who you are and forget about making yourself better. Talk about the customer. Let the customer feel better. Let the customer build up their own ego so they will feel better. This is going to make you money. And this connects to the last point. That's, I made a few videos about this already, but I come from a different place. Obviously, I have my own things, and this is something that comes easy to me. I understand it's difficult to others, but ego prevents a lot of people from getting on video. And video, watch my other videos about video, right? But videos is how you build your brand, build your marketing, come off to the customer as a real professional that is there to help them and provide value, right? We all understand that, but literally last month I did a training for the big dealership, right? I told them all about video, how it's great and proved, and we had a discussion why people don't do videos, and it all went great. They all, nodded and were excited, and then there were like 15 of them, and I said, okay, great, who's going to be the first one to get on video today? And there was silence. I finally got two guys to do that, right? But it was just amazing how everybody agrees. But then when it's like starts to being hurting your own self, putting yourself out on video, sadly, not everybody was ready for it. So, yeah, just a few points. Think about how you come off to other people. Think about the things that you think making you happy, like being on top of the board, but you're not in this business. I mean, if you're going to work and you just want to be happy and be on top of the board and that's enough for you, great. Just admit it to yourself that that's what you want. But if there's just things that your ego can work against you and make you leave money on the table in terms of extra sales, extra profit, extra customers, and just easier work. Thanks for watching.